Most people spend their lives trying to fix a problem they never created. They think they are too sensitive, too weak, too lazy, too broken, too different. They try to improve themselves, discipline themselves, rebuild themselves into someone who finally deserves a place. But what if the problem is not that you failed to become the right person? What if you were never given the conditions to become one in the first place? Before you could decide who you were assigned a role. Almost immediately after you were born, you were told that you are not simply a living human being. You are a child. Look at what the child actually is. The child has close to no rights and a mountain of debt. You owe gratitude for being fed, you owe good behavior in front of guests because you stand in public as the family. You owe a future that justifies what was spent on you. You owe your parents the steady proof that they are good parents. A pet in the same house may be controlled in every practical sense, but nobody presents it with a moral invoice for its food and shelter. The child gets one. The child has to earn the right to be treated as a person by performing the role well. This is not the most powerless role in existence, but it is the first powerless one almost everyone enters, and the one in which the machinery that will later interpret every other role is still being built. On top of that, you are a daughter or a son, a student, a good girl who will become a wife and then a mother, a good boy who will become a provider, and a man who does not cry. Later the list grows. You become a worker, a patient, a tenant, a citizen, a customer, or in one particularly elegant piece of bureaucratic language, a natural person, as if they were some other kind walking around. Not one of these is a neutral description of you. Every one of them arrives with a set of duties, a list of feelings you are allowed to have, a script for how you are supposed to behave, and a rule about who is permitted to give you orders. At some point, the role stops describing the person and starts standing in their place. That's why the society is so inhumane everywhere you go. Inside families, people quit relating to each other as people and start demanding correct performances out of a mother, a daughter, a husband, or a wife. The kitchen runs on the same script as the counter. Once the living person has been taken out of the picture, the coldness everybody feels and nobody can explain stops being a mystery. I have published a couple of videos on this topic lately, but I'll say it again. There is no empathy because there is nobody left to feel it toward. A role is not alive. It has no body, no fear, no history. It is a category with instructions stapled to it. You do not have to understand what the patient, the tenant, the bad daughter, the sinner, or the enemy is going through. You only have to know how that category gets handled. The handling is written down. The person is not in the file. And because the role is not alive, it is rigid and isn't supposed to change or evolve. You can watch this happen to an adult in real time. A grown woman, 40 years old, running her own life, gets asked by her mother whether she put a hat on, whether she has eaten, whether she's dressed warmly enough. Everyone smiles at it. To her, you will always be a child. It sounds like love, and it is the opposite of love, because the question is not aimed at the 40-year-old standing there. It is aimed at a 5-year-old who cannot look after herself, and that 5-year-old has not existed for 35 years. A real question is open, it does not know the answer, and it is ready to hear anything. Did you eat? Did you wear the hat? These are not questions. They are inspections against a checklist, with the answers already sorted into right and wrong. It is not interest in you. It is a check on whether you still fit the slot. And the reason it keeps coming is that the mother needs the slot filled. The hat question is not for your head. It is for her, because a mother with a helpless child to tend is still a mother, and the grown self standing in front of her erases the role she is holding. So she has to push you back down into the child, or there is no one left for her to be. The care is real, and it is not flowing to you. It is flowing to the role straight through you, on its way to keeping her in costume. The first years matter more than any other part of this, because the brain does most of its building in exactly those years, and it shapes itself to fit whatever it is standing in. A child whose own perception keeps losing to the role, who says it hurts and is told you are fine, who says this is unfair and is told you are ungrateful, grows up with the shame already wired in as the default setting, installed before anyone in there is old enough to question it. You did not pick up the feeling that something is wrong with you somewhere along the way. It was poured in during the years you had no vote. That is why it does not lift on command. You can see the whole machine now as an adult and name every role in it. The low feeling stays anyway because it was not handed to you like a belief you could later argue with. It was laid down as you in the one role you never had any choice about. Seeing the trap does not unbuild the part of you that formed inside the trap. So the permanent shame, the steady sense that you are somehow wrong, the private conviction that there is a flaw in you that everyone else got the manual for, has a flat structural cause underneath it. There was never a place for you in that structure as a living human being. There was a place for the correct daughter, the correct student, the correct woman, the correct worker, the correct patient. You could not fold yourself into any of them because a living thing does not fit into a role without cutting pieces of itself, and the pieces it has to cut are the ones that are actually alive. If you ask someone a simple question, "Who are you?" most people would come up with nothing more than a list of their roles. People take the role they were handed and they swallow it whole. It stops being something they perform and becomes who they believe they are. Then they turn and demand the same theater from everyone near them, so it keeps going. The mother enforces the daughter. The teacher enforces the student. The good citizen reports the bad one. The system is not a cloud above society handing down orders. It lives in ordinary people, insisting that other ordinary people become the roles assigned to them. The mother cannot remain the mother unless someone keeps performing the daughter. The teacher needs the student. The good citizen needs the bad one. Each role recruits the other roles required to keep itself real. So the problems of not fitting in, low self-esteem, or feeling like you do not belong are real. But the usual explanation is that something is wrong with the person experiencing them. There is nothing wrong with you. You are a living person standing in a structure that has no slot for a living person. The question that remains is, how does a person actually live a role that has become indistinguishable from their own identity? This is the next part of my work. I am developing a methodology for identifying roles separating them from the person underneath and restoring the parts of the self that were suppressed to maintain those roles. As always, I appreciate everyone who supports my work through Patreon, PayPal, and YouTube memberships.